What, you want a picture of me?
Nearby. He had a very, very important role. He was the mediator between God and Israel. He was the ambassador, the representative. Somebody once said that he's like the internet router between the consumer and the internet. He on Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, he was the only person in the whole compound. No one was even allowed inside the courtyard on that day. And he would first of all sacrifice an animal for his own personal sins before he could take care of the sins of the rest of Israel. And only then he would sacrifice an animal for all of Israel. And he would walk into the Holy of Holies with the blood of that sacrifice. And he would sprinkle that blood on the Ark of Covenant. And that atoned for the sins of the Israelites for the past year. Jesus is our high priest. Hebrews chapter 4 talks about this a lot, about Jesus being our high priest. And like I said outside, only the high priest was the only one who could make that sacrifice. Jesus is the only one who could make the sacrifice for us. Because there is nothing we can do in our own power to receive forgiveness of sin. It is only by the power and love and grace of God. But there are a couple of key differences between the high priest and Jesus. As our high priest, one being that Jesus did not have to sacrifice a personal sacrifice first because he was already sinless to begin with. And secondly, another big difference is that the high priest, when he made the sacrifice, it was an annual ceremony. It was a yearly sacrifice. Whereas Jesus' sacrifice is once and for all. So now, I'm going to be talking about the Holy of Holies and the Ark of Covenant.
Are we allowed to
But
go?
we are a few too many
Are we allowed to go in?
to fit in there. So when
It's
I finish
holy.
explaining, when I'm done explaining, then you guys can come in and take a look. So the Ark of Covenant sat inside the Holy of Holies. And inside the Ark were 3 items. Who knows what was inside the Ark?
Tablet.
The tablets, yeah.
Aaron's
Manna and
staff.
Aaron's staff. Very good. Each of these 3 items represent a different aspect of the relationship between God and man. The 2 tablets of stone with the 10 commandments represent the covenant between God and man. In Hebrew, the 10 commandments is actually not called the 10 commandments, but rather the 10 statements. For example, the first one is, I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt. That's not a commandment, that's a statement. It's a declaration. So it's 10 statements, or 10 standards, I guess you could call them, that when we as human beings step out of the boundaries of these 10 statements, we sin, and we break that connection with God. So it represents the covenant. The manna bread is the manna is bread from heaven that God provided for the Israelites in the desert, and it represents God's provision in our lives today, just as He provided for the Israelites back then. And the staff of Aaron. Aaron was the first high priest, and he was also the brother of Moses. And I spoke about how the high priest is the mediator and also represents Jesus. But you can also see how the staff that blossomed with almond flowers represents Jesus, in that it blossomed with almond flowers just as Jesus rose from the dead. So these three things, the covenant, the provision, and the mediator, when the high priest went in with the blood into the Holy of Holies, he sprinkled the blood on the ark, and that represents God looking through the blood onto what connects us to Him, showing that only through blood can we be in a relationship with God, and only through blood can we rebuild that relationship with God that has been broken by sin.
Is this curtain like
Inviting all of us, Jew, Gentile, black, white, man, woman, is inviting everyone. But another spiritual significance is, in the Old Testament, if a parent lost a child or if a father lost a son, what would he do? He would tear his clothes. Exactly, he would tear his clothes in mourning over his lost child. And it's as if God the Father is tearing his clothes in mourning over his son Jesus, and by doing so, at the same time, opening the door and inviting everyone into his presence.
Amazing.
So now you guys can come in. Invite you, and
I heard new teachings in this place.
More questions?
You go first. Picture tayo sa hyperlist.
You want to feel? I want you to put that on your titty. Run to the bus. I agree with it.
Right, yeah.